guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a December wrap-up. So this month I read a total of 5 books, which is pretty good for me because normally I read about 2 or 3 a month. So to reach a goal of 5 was pretty good for the month of December. So let's get started. The first book that I have here is Genuine Fraud by Lockhart. Its main character is a girl named Jewel. Basically, at the beginning of the book, she is on the run and she's about to get caught, it seems like, and it starts from that point and it actually goes backwards. So like throughout the whole book, it's revealing more and more about what's going on and what's happening in the story. It's kind of confusing, but it definitely keeps you interested because you want to know what happens next. And so this book was definitely a good read. I read his other book, We Were Liars, and it's just like that one. It keeps you on your toes. It kind of keeps you confused, but that's a good thing because at the end it all wraps up and it's just a really good story. So next we have here Once Was Lost by Sara Zarr. I've read a couple books by Sara Zarr and they're all pretty thin books, but they're definitely an interesting read. This one was about a girl named Sam, or Samara, and her father's a preacher, her mother is in rehab, and she's dealing with all of this pent-up frustration. She doesn't really know what to do with her anger or anything like that, and so she's just really confused. And in the process of her dealing with that anger about her mother being in rehab, a little girl from her church goes missing, and so they're trying to find her, and it all takes place in 1 week. It's a really interesting story about a young girl finding herself. So I definitely think that Sara Zarr is a great author and her books are always really, really good, and I enjoyed this one. The next book I have here is Pretties by Westerfield. I finished this book this month. It features a girl named Tally and she is in a dystopian society. Each person as they turn 16 get turned pretty, which is like the norm. Everybody looks about the same. There's small features that are different, but they're all considered pretty. The first 2 books, the girl gets out of the society and she's living in the wilderness with a group of people, but she gets caught. And then she gets out of society, and then she gets caught again, and then she gets out, and then she gets caught. It's very repetitive, and each time they make her prettier, they make her special, or they make her this or that, and it just seems like she never gets out of the society. I started the 3rd book, Specials, and I just really didn't enjoy it. I decided I wasn't going to finish it, and I'm not going to finish the series. One thing that I didn't like about it was how in Specials they talk about cutting. They talk about it as like something that makes them icy, that makes them clear in their mind, and considering this is a middle-level school book, I wouldn't want the other children now reading this because they are young and they don't know anything about it, or if they do, they might be confused about it, and so I'm just not really sure I would want young readers reading about cutting in a way that makes it seem like it's a good idea. So I definitely don't think Westerfield should have put that in his book. So I've decided that I'm not going to finish that series and I'm not going to finish that book. But the first 2 books were really good, so if you want to read the first 2, you probably could and not read the 3rd one and it would be fine. But the next book that I finished this month is Girl in Pieces by Kathlene Glasgow. I started this book in the summer and then I just got caught up as soon as school started and I wasn't able to finish it. Well, I finished it this month, and it follows a girl named Charlotte, who they call Charlie, and she is living on the streets and she tries to kill herself, and then somebody finds her and they take her to a mental hospital where she meets a couple of friends and she doesn't talk and she's just having a really hard time with life. Well, when she gets out, she goes to stay with a friend in New Mexico, I believe, either New Mexico or Arizona, and she's staying with a friend and she gets a job and she's just having a really hard time coping with all of these feelings. She's lost so many people and she doesn't know how to feel about it. The story follows her learning how to deal with depression and anxiety and her cutting problems. And in the end, she finds herself and she realizes that she doesn't need that in her life, that she can be a better person without it. And Kathlene Glasgow just does an incredible job explaining how it feels to be depressed and have anxiety. And I just think that this book is an amazing read. It will rip your heart out and put it back together again. It will make you cry, and it is an incredible story. And I definitely recommend reading Girl in Pieces if you want a good book that will make you cry and then happy in the end, because it has a happy ending. And the last book that I read this month is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I know that I had mentioned in my to be read video that I would be reading this book this month, that it was something that I really wanted to get into, and I'm definitely glad that I read it. This book follows a girl named Asa who is, I think, 16? Yeah, 16. And she has OCD and anxiety, and it follows her kind of getting into this detective work, I guess, where she is trying to find out what happens to this CEO. She struggles with her OCD throughout the whole story, and John Green, it just writes it so vividly. He does an incredible job with it. He gets into the details and the nitty-gritty of what OCD is and how she is dealing with it and how it works in her brain, and he just breaks it down, and you just understand the pain that she is going through and the struggling and the suffering, and he just does an incredible job explaining that. I think that this book is just so good. It had me in my feels, and the character development of Asa is just, it's so good. It's there, but you don't know it's there until the end, and you're just like, whoa, wow. But anyways, this book is just so good. I would definitely recommend it. I'm so glad that I picked it up this month and read it and finished it. Guys, so that was my December wrap-up. I enjoyed every single one of these books that I finished, and I've started a couple more books that I'm hoping to finish in the month of January. I will have a January to be read video coming up soon. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And if there's anything that you would like to see me make a video about, comment down below and I will get to it. Alright, I enjoyed making this video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!